Hello all of you, welcome to the 9th and the last class for income from house property. We have completed all the concepts, one or two homeworks we need to check, and very important part we are going to do is some concepts of subletting, composite rent, few of the incomes of house property which are exempt, deemed ownership. Some theory concepts are there we have not taken that we will discuss in today's class. But as we begin, if anyone wants to ask anything, unmute and ask before I start or put the message in the chat box. हाँ पूछो अगर आपको कुछ डाउट है तो let us start the class with that. From my side, last 2 classes intensive preparation we have done for pre-construction interest. Last class, we have done one very nice problem. In fact, if anyone has missed the class also, they should mark it and they should take answer for problem number 13. It's a problem of 2 people. It's a problem of partition. It's a problem covering pre-construction interest and GAV, NAV. All the concepts of this chapter are covered. Okay. And of course, some instructions at the end, but I'm giving it now only. Don't miss the next class. We are going to start with easy but lengthiest head of the income tax, that is business head. Your first head of income is salary. We have not done house property. You got a grip now. How to read income tax question, how to apply that concept and solve and compute the income. Now we are doing business head, then capital gain, then other source. Reverse, we will come and do salary. Is this clear to all of you? Then the clubbing and set off. So any doubts you have to ask me. I'll take one more exclusive class for the MCQs also. Okay. Time permits, we will do that today also in the end. CA book, CMA book, any book we can pick up and do so that how far we have followed or not. That should be clear to us. Right now, yeah. All the types of the rent means what? Okay. Okay, what do you are asking the doubt is ki explain the types of the rent, fine. So when we compare rent received, that's the actual rent. And that rent, when you have to compare, then you have to take care of what is fair rent. Fair rent is the arm's length rent in your area. If you are taking, say you are paying me for the ground floor or the first floor, 10,000 per month. So in the similar building, next building, are they charging 10,000 or 50,000 or 20,000 or what? So, you know, arm's length rent is the rent based on the fair value. Then second is municipal value is in the MCH office. If you say the street number, the door number, you get this area, this square feet, this old construction, what is going to be the rent, idle rental. Then we also have a separate standard rent control act. In the rent control act, government is giving the benchmark. The name itself says standard. Minimum itna rent to hona hi chahiye. So that is like standard rent. So these are all the kinds of rent: fair rent, standard rent, municipal value, and then you have the actual rent receivable. Actual rent receivable may be low due to vacancy. Okay, right? So in that case, if actual rent is low due to vacancy, then we may take actual rent as GAV if it is low only due to vacancy. Otherwise, follow the high, low, high. एक काम करते हैं ना, whether it is theory or whether it is practical and all, this is the gist and the last class. Let us start from the beginning. I'm sharing the material. And jahan se bhi hai, we will revise everything and we will do some of the 1 or 2 problems also which we have missed. See, very important section, knock entry into income from house property is section 22. Chargeability section, it says owner and tenant relationship should be there. Okay, right. Once you decide that owner and tenant relationship should be there, then there has to be a property. Owner hai, tenant hai, but there has to be a property, right? So that property can be of what kind of property? So the name of this head is income from house property, but it has property, building, commercial building, factories, godowns, offices, multiplexes, theaters, residential building, all including land appertinent to the building. So along with the building, attached to the building, if we have land appertinent to the building, that is garage, garden, and if you have given it out on rent, it is taxable under income from house property. Now this line is very important. Income from letting out of vacant land is taxable under income from other sources. Aram se karo. If it is a vacant plot and you have given it out on rent for some yoga camp or for a circus company and all. So it's just an open plot, open land. Then rental income will be taxable under income from other sources because there's no property. Yeah, but you have a building, attached to that you have 2 parking spaces and you don't have a car. So to your neighbor, you have given your open car parking space. Or in your 1 car parking space, you have allowed someone to open a saloon. So like this, if you are getting rental income for land appertinent to building, it's taxable here. Is the whole class very attentive? This is as good as the gist revision of this head called income from house property. Exclusive 7 to 8 marks problems are asked and very hot favorite for MCQs. I would like to do rather the gist revision properly. If required for MCQs, we will take one separate class, the way we did for residential status. MCQs, true and the false, and fill in the blanks. I will show it on the screen. I'll give you 5-7 minutes. You do it and then we will discuss. Okay, while I am revising also, definitely you can interrupt me if you have any doubt. Okay? Aram se padho, because if I am teaching ahead and if your mind is stuck up there, you will not follow. All right, once you know that property income is taxable under this head, all the properties are divided into 3 types. First is LOP. Let out property is the property which you have given it out on rent. Self-occupied property is property where you stay. Either you stay. Now self-occupied property also includes unoccupied property. Unoccupied property is the property. Okay? Unoccupied property is your own property. You own it, but you are not staying there. It is vacant. So you have not given it on rent, but it is vacant because you are staying somewhere else because of your employment or your business. Are you all getting? Now, in income tax, from last financial year 2021 and our financial year is 21-22, self-occupied property or unoccupied property, 2 properties are allowed. So suppose you have 3 bungalows, one in Hyderabad, one in Goa and one in Gangtok. So any 2 of the houses are allowed as self-occupied. Third house is also self-occupied. In the vacation, you go and stay in your Gangtok house and Goa house and all. Okay, but all 3 houses are self-occupied actually, but how many houses will be allowed self-occupied? Maximum 2. The third self-occupied house will be treated as deemed let-out house property. Deemed means DLOP, assumed to be let out. It's assumed. It's let out. Actually, dear students, this is little difficult to digest, but most important thing you all should understand that DLOP is the only head where notional income is taxable. Yeah. Anyone in the class is having any doubt? Chat box is also on. You can ask me anything. As you asked me fair rent and all, I have explained. Ye bhi. Let out property which you give it on rent, or sometimes that may be vacant. Self-occupied property, either you stay there or let it be unoccupied. if your self-occupied property is not occupied, you are staying in Mumbai and your Hyderabad house you are giving out for functions and weddings and all on rental, it will not be self-occupied. It will become let out property. What is deemed let out property? Assumed to be let out. If you already know this head, if you have already solved the problems earlier with me, all the classes you have attended, this is the 9th class, all the classes, you will definitely follow this gist revision. Still anything goes little bouncer or any term not clear, put me a message. So 3 types of properties are clear. Now this is, see, when we say compute the income from house property, we should have a format. If I say, okay, tell me what is the GP, ma'am, immediately you will prepare a trading account, opening stock purchases, sales, yes or no? So like that, if I say compute house property, there is a format of house property. Now what is that format? Okay, self-occupied property, let out and deemed let out. So in that format, first let us see this part. House property income starts with gross annual value. So let us come how to derive gross annual income. Frankly, gross annual value or GAV is 12 months rental income. But I may take 10,000 rent from you by check and I may ask you to pay 8,000 SE illegally, cash me. So government is very cautious about this. They are saying that at least I should take the rent which is at par with the fair rent, municipal value, standard rent, which I explained you now. Are these terms clear to you? Tell me, dear students. आज की क्लास में ना मुझे बहुत एनर्जी लगने वाली. It's like I explain, I'm saying, I'm sitting, chalo, you all do it in the class on your own. And then you keep pouring your answers in the chat box. आज ऐसे नहीं होने वाला है. So don't leave the class unless you feel कि मैम आप बहुत देर से बोल रहे हैं, आप भी थक गए, हमको भी ब्रेक चाहिए, तो tell me, I'll give a 5 minutes break. आके आ जाना, पानी तो आपके आसपास भी होगा, sure? हाँ, चलो, let us continue. So how to derive GAV? There's a format. It's like, you know, waves of ocean, high, low, high. Fair rent or municipal value, whichever is high. That or standard rent, whichever is low. That or actual rent, whichever is high. So in this, whichever is the step 3 answer, that will be your GAV. Suppose your actual rent is 80,000, but standard rent in area is 90,000. So fair and municipal value, whichever is high. That or standard rent, whichever is low. Then 90,000 or actual rent, whichever is high. Is this clear to all of you? Right? So this is how you have to put the fair rent, municipal value and get your answer GAV. Listen all of you, there may be combination. 3 months the property is self-occupied. 9 months it is let out. You are staying in your own house for 3 months. And then you decided, no, now we want to give it on rent. We are moving to another house. So self-occupied let out combination problems also, please follow the step method. Right? Now, actual rent do you know? Acha, now next concept is, in case of self-occupied property, the GAV is nil. Why? When you are staying in your own house, can you pay rent to yourself? No. But then you can say, ma'am, just now you said deemed let out property. See, रहने के लिए एक घर बस है. One house is enough to stay. Still government is saying you can have luxury of 2 houses. If you have more than 2 houses, then you can afford to take it as deemed rental income and pay the tax. Acha, you are earning less than 5 lakhs, rebate for you. Oh, you are earning above 50 lakhs, pay little extra tax, no, in the form of surcharge. Understand this in a broader perspective. Clear or not? So, self-occupied property, the GAV will be nil. Self-occupied partly and let out partly, follow the steps. If it is vacant for some period and then let out, then take actual rent irrespective of other values. Now, this is important. Look here. Sometimes fair rent municipal value, whichever is high. That or standard rent, whichever is low. That or actual rent, whichever is high. So step B answer is high. And actual rent is low because fair rent municipal value is all for 12 months. And actual rent is only 10,000 into 8 months. Only 8 months. So, fair rent municipal value for 12 months and actual rent only for 8 months because 4 months the property, 2 let ka board to lagaya tha, but the property was not occupied. In that case, if this is the case, then in the third step, step B or actual rent, whichever is higher, dhyan se suno. Take actual rent as GAV even if it is low. Even if it is low, if it is low due to vacancy. If 4 महीने vacant नहीं रहता तो 10,000 into 12, 1,20,000 is much higher than 90,000. Right now 90 is higher. I am doing all this orally because I am doing revision. Otherwise, go back to those classes and where we have practiced for 2 classes only GAV. Yes. Is this revision clear? Are you correlating all the 8 classes? Pen down, stop speaking Dipti and message from you all. यहाँ तक सब clear है या नहीं? Are you clear why the GAV is nil for self-occupied property? Okay. Thank you. S ma'am, clear ma'am, CM. चीफ मिनिस्टर मत बनाओ मुझे, पॉलिटिक्स नहीं अच्छा लगता. थैंक यू सो मच ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर द अमेजिंग मैसेज. नाउ इन सेल्फ ऑक्यूपाइड प्रॉपर्टी जीएवी इज निल. अच्छा, सेल्फ ऑक्यूपाइड एंड लेट आउट कैसे कंप्यूट करना है, आई टेल यू लेटर. कैन वी गो अहेड? जीएवी इज क्लियर. म्युनिसिपल टैक्स यू डिडक्ट ओनली इफ दे आर पेड बाय ओनर एंड इफ दे आर एक्चुअली पेड. इफ दे आर पेड बाय टेनेंट, डोंट टेक इट. If they are paid by owner but late, 4th of April and all, after the financial year is over, then don't take it. Next is NAV. NAV's 30% standard deduction is allowed. NAV's 30% standard deduction is allowed. Now, what is this standard deduction? When I am the owner of the property, I am getting rental income. Then so many type of expenses I am incurring. Yes or no? Like ground rent, building ka insurance, watchman ki salary, repairs, maintenance, liftman salary, sweeping, gardening, many things are there in the building. So government is saying if your NAV is 100, 30% standard deduction we are giving you flat. Irrespective of your actual expenses, 45% or 4%. So take that. And then interest on loan. If you have taken loan, EMI includes principal and principal will be given as an added flavor in the exam. Don't take it. Don't take interest on loan. Okay? I mean say interest on loan to lena hai, sorry, EMI में principal नहीं लेना है. Whenever you take housing loan, whatever interest, अच्छा, interest on loan is allowed on due basis. Even if it is due, it is allowed, right? So GAV minus municipal taxes, NAV, standard deduction, interest on loan. Interest on loan including pre-construction interest if any. That gives you income from house property. Now listen, dear students. In case of self-occupied property, GAV is nil, NAV is nil, and interest on loan is allowed up to a limit. That limit I'll tell you in the next page. So obviously, self-occupied property is always going to show a loss. क्या ये clear है आप सबको? Self-occupied property is always going to show a loss. Let out and deemed let out, you can work as you want. Chalo. Next now, let us go and talk more detail about interest on loan. Interest on loan as a deduction is allowed on due basis. Interest is due, but you have not paid, still it is allowed. Now, in case of let out and deem let out, interest on loan is allowed without any upper limit. I want to repeat, let out and deem let out, no upper limit. If you want, write down, कोई upper limit नहीं है. Self-occupied property, interest on loan is allowed up to 2 lakhs, 3 conditions. If the loan is taken after 1499, if the construction should be completed in 5 years, or construction is over in the 5 years, loan is taken after 1499, and if the person from whom you have taken loan, he gives you proper certificate. Clear or not? So if you have taken, I will repeat and tell you. ये थोड़ा important है, इसको ध्यान से पढ़ो. देखो ध्यान से सुनो. If you have taken property loan and that loan you have taken for construction after 1499, construction is completed in 5 years, and you have taken it for purchase and construction. In self-occupied property, interest on loan is allowed up to 2 lakh rupees for 2 self-occupied property, not individual. दोनों मिला के. And that too current year's interest and pre-construction interest, all put together. Now, this interest is, instead of 2 lakh, the upper limit is 30,000 if the loan is taken before 1499. If construction is not over in 5 years, or even if the loan is taken after 1499, today, 2022, if the loan is taken, but it is taken for repairs and renovation of the self-occupied property, upper limit is 30,000 for 2 self-occupied property. I've already given you flowchart also. If you want 2 minutes, lagega. You know, we have written, like over these 8 classes, we have written so many booster notes. Look at all this. ये सब हमने लिखे हैं ना. अच्छा, ये तो residential status का आ गया. 1 minute. Yeah, here we go. See, so many booster notes we have written for pre-construction and all. This is the flowchart. Yeah. If anyone has missed the class, take the screenshot of this. ले लो और फिर इसको जरूर लिख के रखना, पढ़ना. If you have any doubt, you can ask. The flowchart for interest on loan. Chalo. Interest on loan is clear. Self-occupied property, there's upper limit of 2 lakh or 30,000. Let out, deemed and let out, so no limit. Now, yeah. Next is interest on loan if you pay outside India. You have taken a loan from outside India and you are paying interest on loan. In that case, if you have missed deducting TDS, it will not be allowed. I have explained you this with an example. And if you have taken loan from A and then you took loan from B to repay the loan of A. So now B's loan, the second loan, has taken the place of housing loan. And first loan, A's loan is bye-bye, gone. So now tell me, interest on B's loan, will it be allowed? Yes. Interest on second loan taken is allowed. See. But interest on interest is not allowed. To pay the interest of housing loan, you take money from a third person. Arey, I have to pay 10,000 interest to Rohit and I'm not having money. Rohit se maine housing loan liya. To pay interest to Rohit, I am taking loan from Pravalika. Now, whatever interest I pay to Pravalika, that is not allowed. Interest on interest is not allowed. Okay? Right? See, these are all booster notes, and when you write it, they are when handwritten, they are not typed. I have written, you have written over 8 classes. Definitely, it's very clear, I hope. फिर भी कोई doubt है तो पूछो. Next concept we did was arrears of rent and unrealized rent. Beautiful small concept. Arrears of rent is old retrospective rent with increased, limit बढ़ाने के बाद what you get now. And unrealized rent is, suppose someone is occupying your property, he is not able to pay you rent, and some 4 conditions are given. If they are satisfied, it becomes your unrealized rent. It's like bad debt. That person is saying, "Jo karna hai kar lo, I to can't pay you rent." Fine. After 3 years, he comes and tell you, "Ma'am, that time I was not able to pay you. Now I want to pay you," and all this. So whenever arrears of rent and unrealized rent are recovered by you, they will be taxable with 30% standard deduction separately. If you are receiving in this year 20,000 unrealized rent or arrears of rent of 2014, it's going to be taxable 20,000, 30% standard deduction 6,000, 14,000 taxable. Now, 2014 arrears you are getting now because you have won the case or whatever it is. But right now you are not owner of the property. 2016 only you sold the property to Anjana. You are not the owner. Still, it's going to be taxable in house property. See, the way I am explaining, I am going into that in-depthness which are asked in the objective questions, and that is the base. Students say हम house property पढ़ के जाते हैं पर एग्जाम में पता नहीं क्या होता है. So unless you have this basket, today's class is a big basket. If this is ready, this concept basket is ready, you will not do any silly mistake while solving the problem. Is arrears of rent and unrealized rent clear to you? Yeah. Sometimes by way of legacy or will, you have to pay some annual charge to someone, like property is transferred to you, dear student, by your father through will or legacy. But your father has said ki all the rental income of property you keep, dear son, but 5,000 per month you should give to your mother. That is called as annual charge. That is not allowed to be deducted. You can't say, "Ma'am, मुझे तो जो rent आ रहा है उसी में से मैं mom को 5,000 per month pay करता हूँ." No, it's not allowed. All clear till here? Pre-construction interest I'll explain. But ये format में मुझे लग रहा है revision अच्छे से clear से हो रहा है. Okay. Now, current year's interest is allowed in routine, and with that, sometimes what happens, when you start the construction, you take loan. Once the construction is over in 2021, you start getting rental income, and against that you deduct interest on loan. But what about those 2-3 years, say 2019, 20, 2021 construction was going on, but that time no rental income was there. That interest is called as pre-construction interest. It starts from the day construction started or the loan is taken, whichever is later, and it ends on the date of repayment or 31st March prior to the completion of the construction. If construction is over on 30 June 21, then 31st March 21 is your cutoff. And this is how the pre-construction interest is calculated. See, in step 1. In step 2, pre-construction period ka interest calculate karo. Amount, rate, number of months or years. And pre-construction interest annually is allowed 1/5 every year for 5 continuous years from the year when construction is over. So current year's interest, see, we have solved case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5, case 6. So nice, all these cases. You have also added. See, this is the gist. फिर से इसका screenshot लेना है तो रख लो. Or I'm saying for those students, पता नहीं, sometimes if you are missing the class, yeah. Can you please wait? Some of you are asking me to do the Mahesh wala problem. हमने नहीं, अब करेंगे. Today I will complete everything in this. If you have any doubt at the end, wait. I'll take extra time and clear all your doubts. Chapter पढ़ाने मत बोलना, please. So if you miss the classes and if you say, ma'am, explain this all over again, can you imagine? It's very painful, dear students. Mat miss karo class hi. Yeah. Pre-construction period starts from the date of the loan or date of starting of construction, whichever is later. And pre-construction period ends. Okay, it ends on repayment of loan or date of construction. Construction is completed, whichever is earlier. Okay. Chalo, let us go to our main part now, where we were. Interest on loan is clear? Yes. Now we are doing this concept of composite rent. I'll explain it in my way and then I will read out. ध्यान से सुनो. ये ना इधर उधर MCQs में आप पूछते हैं. This is like so scoring. Listen carefully. Nowadays, if you go to the corporate sector side, high-tech city and that side, you get fully furnished house on rent, where all electronics, microwave and washing machine and refrigerator and OTGs and sofas and dining and beds are there. So composite rent means rent of the house, the property, including the rent of other amenities. This together is called as composite rent. But we are in which head? Income from house property. So whatever is the rent of the property, okay, that will be taxable under house property. And whatever is the rent of the other amenities or electronics or furniture, that will be taxable under business act or other source, depending on whatever is the nature. Sometimes this composite rent is not separable. You are paying 50,000 rent for 3-bedroom hall kitchen fully furnished. Now in this 50,000, how much is the property rent and how much is the other rent? You are confused and you are not able to do. In that case, the department, income tax department is clear. Everything will be taxable under income from other sources or business act, but not house property. Is this concept clear to you of income from composite rent? Chalo, let us read it once here on screen. Yeah. Rent of the house is taxable under income from house property. Rent of other services, income from other sources, but some of them are, doing business. They have 8-10 properties and they just keep getting rental income. They keep a person to maintain. You can put a slash and write down business income also maybe. If composite rent cannot be split, then the whole rent is taxable under income from other sources or business income. I want an answer from all of you. Is the 6th point clear to you? What is composite rent? Is my example clear? Chalo, good, good, good. Jaswant, Ashwini, Anjana, Pravalika, thank you so much. So no doubt until now? Anything? Anywhere you are stuck up or clear? Yeah. Next one is like, super favorite flavor, like chocolate flavor for the exam. Kahin na kahin to this goes on. Income from subletting is taxable and income from other sources. Now, this is very popular nowadays. Very popular. Listen to some nice example. Because of this lockdown, we are not meeting face to face, but otherwise imagine we are taking classes face to face in a rented place, one full floor on mic, a big screen and face to face classes. All 70 of you are sitting like in the room and I'm teaching. So this is a rented place. I am the tenant. There's an owner. I'm paying rent. In this whole floor, a small room is there where I have given it on rent to a third person as cafeteria or stationery shop. Healthy snacks मिलेंगे वहाँ पे, sprouts, fruit juices, pani puri, chaat नहीं मिलेगा. And he serves you in the break time because whole day you are taking the coaching. Now, that canteen wala is paying rent to me. I am paying rent to the owner. So owner and me is owner-tenant relationship. This rent is taxable under house property. But canteen wala paying me rent, he is a subtenant. I am a tenant. Where is owner tenant? Knock knock. We will not get the entry only under income from house property. Section 22 में हमको entry ही नहीं मिलेगी. So then this is going to be taxable under income from other sources. Is this clear to you? One of the very popular and practical example I want to give to all of you for subletting is hospitals. Hospitals themselves are on rented place, but inside the hospital, in subletting, they have insurance counter, office, or they have a canteen, or they have a bouquet store like that. Are you getting the concept of subletting? So now tell me, subletting income will be taxable where? Income from other sources. Clear to all of you? Right. Arrears of rent we have done, it is taxable separately, 30% standard deduction, even if he is not the owner. When you receive arrears, that time, Purana wala, hamare zamane wala arrears, if you receive now, and now you are not the owner of the property, still it will be taxable under income from house property. It is taxed separately and don't add it in the GAV and NAV. Suppose you have 3 houses, dear student, H1, H2, H3, compute the income and then separately tax it. Okay? Right. Now, when you, one thing I really missed out, 8 minutes. Arrears of rent and unrealized rent is taxable whenever you receive it 30%. But when the rent becomes unrealized, suppose your actual rent receivable is 10,000 into 12. There is no vacancy, but March month rent the person didn't pay. Then from actual rent, you can deduct unrealized rent. I want to repeat. What is actual rent receivable for this property? 10,000 into 12, 120. उसमें से ना 10,000 minus करने. Simple. Unrealized rent is deductible because मिला ही नहीं है. You have not received that rent. Provided tenancy is bona fide. Owner, this is asked as a theory question. What are the conditions? Tenancy is bona fide. Defaulting tenant has vacated or steps have been. See, when you are not paying the rent, please go. Bye-bye. He should not occupy any other property also. If you are not paying rent of property in here, near the OU, why will I ask you to occupy my Kukatpalli property? Vacate karo usko bhi. And SSC has taken all the reasonable steps, legal proceeding notices, and it is proved that legal proceedings are useless. This person is not going to pay the rent. Okay? Right. All right. Now, some more nice, simple, small concepts which can be touched up separately, like. Okay. इसके लिए भी I will start from problem number 10. You know what happens nowadays? The corporate offices are huge. Like, I want to give an example and then explain the 10th point. In the outskirts of the Hyderabad, you all have seen so much of IT offices and all development is going on. There's an area called Adi Batla. There, Infosys has set up an office for 4,000 employees at a time can work in the office. That big offices, buildings they have made. Now that is in the outskirts of the city. Obviously, next to those 4,000 office buildings, beside them they have made employees quarters. So employees who are working in Infosys, they can travel fast. And these buildings are owned by Infosys, residential building. And they have given it on very nominal rent to the employees so that they can reach their place of work comfortable and fast. Now listen, Infosys is not trying to earn rental income from employee. That is not the intention. It's the comfort. There only they have in-house schools and clubs and swimming pool and supermarkets and malls and multiplex. सब वही रहता है. So these employees were paying rent to the Infosys so that they can stay in the apartment next to Infosys business building. This will be taxed under income from business head. Who is the owner of the building? Infosys. Infosys is maintaining the building. So are they doing expenditures? Yes. Tomorrow we will start with the business head. So they are doing maintaining the building. They are doing all the maintenance. Okay. That maintenance related expense is business expense. These buildings, residential building for employees, will they claim depreciation on that? Yes, if it is business related. So जो rental income आ रहा है, that will also be taxable there. That's what they want to say in this point. Let us check it out. Read करो इसको. बहुत अच्छा point है. Yeah. If a portion of business is let out to employee of the business for residence purpose, and this is necessary for efficient working of the business, then any rent received, word is missing, from such employee shall not be taxed as house property. If the occupation by employees is not essential to SSE's business, then it will be taxable under house property. Otherwise, it will be taxable as business income. Be clear, employees' quarter rent will be taxable as business income. Same way, income from letting of open land not attached is tax income from other sources. Fine. This point is wonderful. Advance rent received is not taxable. 12 months rent I am taking from you, dear students. But the very first month when you became my tenant, I took 3%, 3 months rent as advance in the form of deposit. It's a deposit. Advance rent received is not an income and it is not taxable. 2 minutes 11-12 point को वापस पढ़ो, कुछ doubt है तो you can ask me. I hope my speed is fine. This is a gist revision. Already we have done all this in detail. Yeah. Advance rent received is not taxable only. 13 point is still beautiful. Okay. Listen now. In our class, 2 brothers are there, Rohan and Rohit. They both are co-owners of a property. Okay. But ownership has come to them in such a way that both of them are fighting in the court. ये property मेरी है. Rohan is saying this belongs to me alone. I have the proof. Rohit is saying no, this belongs. And that fight is going on in the case. Meanwhile, this house is given on rent to Taj Group of Hotels. And they are getting good rent. You all know, so many palaces and all, private palaces and all are given on rent for functions and all this. So Rohan and Rohit are receiving rental income. And they are saying, department, please wait. No, department, ये सही में cases हैं. ध्यान से सुनो. They are saying to department, please wait. No, department, when we decide whoever is the owner, he'll pay the tax. I am not the owner. Why? Department is saying, you keep on fighting. As many years you want, you keep on fighting. Rohan and Rohit, you keep on fighting. Until now, who is receiving the rent? दोनों में से कोई भी बैंक अकाउंट में कहीं ना कहीं तो आपको रेंट आ रहा होगा ना. तो who is receiving the rent? In that case, that person has to tax and calculate in his income and pay the tax. Once again, Rohan and Rohit are fighting for the ownership of the property. But right now, temporarily, all the Taj Group hotels are paying rent to Rohan. So Rohan has to pay the income tax on this rental income, irrespective of he is going to be the final owner or not. These are all, case laws के judgment है, conclusions है. At inter level, you need not do all these case laws and all. So I'm just reading out. Yeah. I'll read the 13 point, then go back to 11th if you want me to explain. If title of the property is disputed, the decision about the ownership lies with IT department. Generally, a person who receives income or who enjoys the possession is liable to pay tax. Rohan, you are receiving the rent. No, you have to pay the tax out of the rental income. Is 13th point clear? Advance is not taxable, clear. Again, 11th. 11th is that open land. Income from letting out of open land not attached to any building. कोई building नहीं है, खाली plot है. You have given it out. You can write example over here. Circus or yoga camp. लिखो ना. It's your material. 3D, 5D makeup करो. Circus or yoga camp or anything is there. It is going to be taxable as income from other sources. Because it's an open plot. Yes. Sarita and others, is this point clear to you? 11 point. It's, open plot. वहाँ कोई building ही नहीं है. So open plot rental income is going to be taxable under income from other sources. ठीक है? Right. I wanted to add a 14th point here. This is missed out. So I want to take it as 14th point and I want all of you to write here. ठीक है? 14th point एक और add करो. Rental income. Write down. I'll explain. Rental income derived by a person. Rental income derived by a person dealing in real estate. Dealing in real estate. Taxable under income from house property. Okay, let me explain this 14th point, dear students. What you have written, rental income derived by a person who is dealing in real estate is taxable under house property. Now, what is this? Listen. Suppose like last pandemic, we had 2 lockdowns. So let us take the example of second lockdown. So what is real estate business? The person is buying a plot, making flats and then selling it off outrightly. Flat, row houses, bungalows he makes and he sells. That's the work of the real estate company. So this construction company has made 12 flats. They were completed, but then there was lockdown. And after lockdown, there was so much of financial disturbance. We all know that this company felt we are not going to sell these plots with a good profit. So what they decided, let us give it out on rent. Are you getting? This happened practically with people. Suppose a person was making a huge apartment on road number 12 and next to it metro work started. So now till the metro works, pillaring and all is going on, they will not be able to sell these apartments. After that, obviously when it will open, the road will open fine. So this real estate company who is buying and selling flats, they decided, chalo 12 months, rather than keeping it vacant, let us give it out on rent. This rental income derived by real estate construction company will be taxable under house property. Take your time to digest. I know it's new for all of you, but they can ask you as a case. Is my example clear? Real estate person has made a huge apartment with 12 flats ready to occupy, but because of the COVID and all the financial troubles, they are not seeing a good market for the coming 6 months. So they're saying, chalo, 6 months we'll put it on rent. After that, when the market opens, we will sell it. So this rental income by real estate company is going to be taxed under income from house property. That is what is the 14th point I have made you write. Thoda detail mein hai, it's given down, but I wanted to give you the gist. Okay, come down. It's given over here. See. Please read this with me. As specified head of charge is provided for income from house property, annual value of the property cannot be brought to tax under any other head of income. It will remain so even if property is held by SSE as stock in trade of a business. Are you all getting what I'm saying? Property is held by SSE as stock in trade. You know what is stock in trade? It's like goods for me. Building khareedna, bechna is like opening stock and closing stock with me. Then also, if rental income is derived, it's taxable under income from house property. However, annual value of this is added since last year. However, annual value of the property being held as stock in trade would be treated as nil for a period of 2 years from the end of the financial year in which certificate of completion is obtained from competent authority if such property is not let out during the period. Okay, right? And if the SSE is engaged in business of the letting out, obviously it's a business income. उसका काम ही है. Business of letting out मतलब he has 10, 15 properties. See, this point is different and this point is different. If he is having 10, 15 properties and which are given on rent, then that rental income is going to be taxable as business income. If letting out of property is his business. Now, what is this 2 years? I'll explain with an example. I am writing in the booster notebook. If you want to write it there, or you can write it in the textbook itself. Just let us see an example. RC Limited is a construction company. बिल्डिंग का स्पेलिंग गलत हो गया ना, एन नहीं लगाया. हाँ, बिल्डिंग इज ready to occupy. You know, you get occupancy certificate from the corporation. So building is ready to occupy on say 10th of March 2020. 10th March 2020 को बिल्डिंग का कंस्ट्रक्शन खत्म हो गया. Now financial year 2021-22 building remained unoccupied. To-let board लगाया. You have put the to-let board ready to occupy, but कोई rentals आए ही नहीं. Property was vacant or unoccupied for 2 years. Then in that case, no income is taxable. How many years? See, otherwise, listen all of you, why they have added this provision. Otherwise, you can say, ma'am, even if this is unoccupied, this can be treated as deemed let out. No, 2 self-occupied properties. Third, fourth, तो सब deemed let out और tax pay करो. But this is vacant because they are not able to sell it or let it out. To let का board लगा के रखा है. But 12 months, no one gave, and this is practically happening around us. Yes or no? Last 12 महीने से वो building के बाहर to let का board लगा है and it's not occupied. So is it going to be treated as deemed let out? Do they have to pay tax? Answer is no for 2 years. Beyond that, if it is unoccupied, yes, it will be treated as C. After 2 years, it will be taxable as DLOP. आराम से लिखो, कोई डिफिकल्ट नहीं है, नया कॉन्सेप्ट है. एग्जाम्पल लिखा है and I'll read out twice, thrice if you want. लिखो. Please write it in your boosters और जहाँ पे वो stock in trade का point है, जहाँ आपको लिखना है लिखो. Finished writing? You are a real estate dealer. You're buying and selling property. 2 years your property was unoccupied. Buying, selling, rental, यही आपका business है. 2 years you have put to-let board. After the construction is over and property is unoccupied, you don't have to pay any tax. After 2 years, it will be treated as deemed let out. That's what is the concept. No problem. I'll read it once again and it will be clear to all of you. As specified, head of the charge is provided for house property. Annual value of property cannot be taxed under any other head, even if the property is stock in trade. Buying and selling of property के बीच में you stopped. अरे no, selling of the property is not possible. चलो, let us put it on rent. Rental income taxable under house property. However, annual value of property which is held as stock in trade would be treated as nil for a period of 2 years, underline karo, from the end of financial year in which certificate of completion is obtained from competent authority, if such property is not let out during that period. If the SSC is engaged in business of letting out, this is a separate pointer, though I have given as C. You have 10, 15 properties in the Twin Cities and you're just getting rental income and you have kept a person to collect the rent, it's going to be taxable as business income. All right. Yeah. Now, once again, I want to go back and repeat these points. 12th wala. Advance rent received is not taxable. You are paying me 10,000 rent for 12 months, 1,20,000. It's right now, today, 20th of February. And say, Ashwini, you are traveling out of India and you won't be coming back for 3-4 months. So you are saying, Dipti ma'am, March, April, May ka rent be 10,000 into 3, I will pay you now only and go. So because I have received 30,000 rent for March, April and May now only in advance, will I have to pay the tax now for April and May? Answer is no. Advance rent received is not taxable. Is my example clear? You can also write if you want that example. Aapki book hai, scribble kar lo. 10,000 into 12 you have paid, but for some reason you have paid extra rent, or 10,000 into 12 you have paid rent, 3 months rent you have paid me as advance deposit, so that whenever you vacate you have to inform me 3 months in prior. You know all this? Rental mein hota hai, if I want to take you out, I have to inform you prior. If you want to leave my premises, you have to inform in prior. So this is advance money and it's not taxable. Okay? If letting is incidental to main business, rental income is taxable under business head. Example, service quarter. Likh do na. Example, service quarter. Income from subletting is taxable under other source. This point is repeated. In case of composite rent, if rental income includes service charges and other income, it may be taxable in business head or others. So these are points repeated. Chalo. Now a hot favorite theory question. CMA exam mein to last question number 7 is theory question. वहाँ 5 marks के लिए straight पूछते हैं. CA exam also twice they have asked this question. I'm starting with this theory question. See, I have solved in the 8 days so many problems with so many options and all. Today concentration is on theory. थोड़ा ज़्यादा time की theory को ही class में कर लो, because students are not writing theory in the exam. But जो जितना पूछ रहे हैं वो तो लिखना ही पड़ेगा ना आपको. चलो. When property income is not chargeable to tax. Okay, tell me, are there cases where property income is not taxable? मतलब rental income पे tax ही नहीं लगेगा. When is it possible? Income from farm building, forming part of the agricultural land. Have we done agricultural income? If you use your farm as pump house, outhouse, which you have given out on rent for storing the farm related equipments and all, it's agricultural income, not taxable. Annual value of any one of the palace of an ex-ruler. You know, there is like a Hyderabad example. Hyderabad is like city of Nizams. So, like, do you all know part of Chowmahalla Palace is still privately owned? Falaknuma is being converted into hotel. So, any one of the palace of ex-ruler, if your higher generations were ruling this palace or property, now you are getting rental income. But you have three palaces, one in Hyderabad, one in Udaipur, third in Jaipur. Any one of the palace income is exempt from tax. Remaining rental income will be taxable. Aram se padho. Any conflict in your mind, type. If you are not able to type, unmute karke bol. Clear hai? Any one of the value of the palace of ex-ruler. Don't think that this is the theory part and you can manage. नहीं कर रहे हो आप, मेरे साथ पढ़ लो पूरा. You will surely do it best. And one combo problem we have to take up. No answers we have to check. Property income of local authority. It's not taxable. Property income of scientific research association. Like in Hyderabad, we have DRDL and all these. So these all are research associations and all. There, if they get any property income, not taxable. Property income of educational institute and hospitals. Okay, ours is a college, educational college. Morning to afternoon, college classes are going on. Evening, in some of the rooms, we allow music classes to go on. And in the ground, private cricket coaching is going on. So are we getting rental income for our playground, for our rooms used as music room? Yes. This income is exempt because hospitals, educations and all, they don't work with a motive of profit. So property income of educational institute and hospital is exempt. Yeah, but you may be having, ma'am, private hospitals ka to aisa nahi, so they have different rules. Property income of a trade union, house property held for charitable purpose. Temple, church, gurudwara, old age home, orphanage, schools. तो इन सब के पास भी प्रॉपर्टी होती है. Yeah, suppose there is an old age home, very nicely built, and in the old age home they have a small auditorium. Now that auditorium they give it on rent for dance functions and music functions. Are they getting rental income? Yes. Through that they are using it in managing that old age home. Exempt. Income of political party. House property income of the political party exempt. Property used for own profession. You remember partition problem? 25% self-occupied, your own house. 50% let out. And remaining 25 you are using for your own business. तो own business में जो use करोगे self-occupied, individual and HUF, अगर हैं तो if you use it for own business, you are not going to tax it in the third column. Is this clear to you? 25% self-occupied, 50% let out over. Remaining 25%, you are the owner and you are using it for your own business. We have solved the problem. That related to this 25%, all the expenses are deductible under business head. To self-occupied. Now, you know, dear students, to be very frank with you, A, B, C, D, H, J तक list बहुत बड़ा है. If they ask you, give the list of any of the properties which are exempt, you can write any 5 out of this. Any 5 out of this you can write. Income from farm building or property income of local authority, educational institute, school, colleges, charitable trust, political party and all. Okay? Right. Chalo, now there's a concept of owner and deed owner. This I want to explain. in a different way because we have already done what is diversion of income and all. Okay, listen. Owner of the property, जिसके नाम से property है. Now deemed owner. Deemed owner में one case I am telling you. I am the legal owner of the property. You are the tenant, dear students. I am saying pay the rent not to me as an owner, pay to my younger sister Pravalika. And she is receiving the rent and she is actually using it for her college and educational purpose. I am not getting rent. I am owner of the property. I am not getting rent. Pravalika is getting rent. Tax it in her hands. This is called diversion of income. She is the deemed owner, but I am the actual owner and this is going to be taxable in my hands. Okay? और डीम्ड ओनर का एक और एग्जांपल जो कैपिटल गेन्स में भी आता है. आई एम जस्ट एक्सप्लेनिंग इन माय वे, देन यू नो, कीप पेशेंस, आई विल रीड वर्ड टू वर्ड आल्सो. लिसन. 5th of March 2022, I sold the property to Jaswant. I sold the property to Jaswant, 5th of March. Jaswant paid me cash and check. जो भी payment करना था, he did by 10th of March. And he made me 100% payment, so I gave him the same day's keys of the house. And he started using it for his part for his coaching and academy, and remaining he started giving it on rent. So Jaswant started getting the rent from March month itself. But you all know property transfers take time, lot of paperwork is there, dear students. In your family, any of your parents, your relatives are buying the house, selling the house, to aap पूछो. They go to document writer, they go to registrar's office. What is the percentage of stamp duty they are paying? All these things are there. And what is happening, that because of the paperwork, finally in the registrar's office, this property got registered in name of Jaswant on 10th of April 2022. 10th of April 2022 को ये property Jaswant के नाम से हुई. Till then I was the legal owner. But you all have studied, dear students, Sale of Goods Act in the foundation. Now listen carefully. 5th March, I have sold you the property. You paid me the cash. I gave you the keys. Everything is over. It's just that registration is done on 10th of April. So can we say I am the owner of the house and March month rent also I should pay the tax? Answer is no. In this case, this is called as part performance of the contract. बस इससे ज़्यादा law मत पूछना. I hope you all know what is part performance and all. So part performance of the contract में you have got the ownership. So is Jaswant deemed owner of the house by 31st March only? Answer is yes. See, everything is over. He gave me the money, I gave the keys, he started possessing, he's using the property and all. So even though legally I am the owner till 10th, this is property is deemed owned by 10th of March only by Jaswant. You want to write this example or clear? Now if I read the theory, who is deemed owner and how it is going to be taxed. This will come in capital gain also. इस पे टैक्स कब लगेगा वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो अभी लगेगा 31st मार्च के पहले. Let us read now. This is the E example I am saying. Where the property has been transferred to individual's name as part performance of a contract. Okay. Under transfer of property act, possession of property has been transferred, but title deeds had not been transferred. You know, paperwork takes 2 months time also sometimes. Then also you are the deemed owner, you have to pay tax. And now other cases of deemed owner. Under following cases, income is taxable under income from house property in the hands of the person, even if the property is not registered in his name. Jaswant is not registered owner, but he is the deemed owner. Where property has been transferred to spouse for inadequate consideration, other than अब थोड़ा सा ये language है law का, but है simple. ध्यान से पढ़ो, I'll explain. Transfer to house for inadequate consideration, other than in persons of agreement to live apart. इसको छोड़ दो, पहले ये पढ़ो. When the property has been transferred to spouse for inadequate consideration, you can write gift. Husband has gifted the property to wife. In income tax, husband-wife relationship is called as spouse. So I gifted the property to my spouse. Obviously, gifts are given out of love and affection. Without any consideration, पैसे थोड़ी लेते हैं, gift देते हैं तो. So we have gifted the property out of love and affection. So husband has gifted to wife. So who is the owner, legal owner? Wife. But who is the deemed owner? Husband. Only in the property cases, deemed ownership still lies with the husband. It is like that, other than in consideration to live apart. See, in case of divorce, if a husband is saying, okay, when there's a divorce, they have to give something to the wife for her future maintenance. So in the anomally, the wife is asking for a property. And if that property is transferred, then husband is not the deemed owner because husband-wife ka relationship hi nahi hai na. I know this, only this part in income from house property is not tricky, not difficult, but it is like law. So you understand simply and remember it for some examples if they are not going to ask you any buttified question from this. Husband transferring the property to wife without adequate consideration, outrightly sale karo, paise le lo, no problem. If you transfer without adequate consideration, husband is going to be the deemed owner, even if he is not the registered owner. Property is transferred to minor child for inadequate consideration. Where the individual holds an impartible estate, joint property, jhagda chal raha hai and it's an ancestral property, everyone is said to be the deemed owner. Where individual is a member of a cooperative. See, you stay in an apartment, whatever may be the name, Pragati Cooperative Housing Society. Yeah, Legend Cooperative Housing Society. So, are you the deemed owner? Actually, please remember this language. There are 8 flats. You are the owner of the flat, but these flats are built up on this land. Then all the 8 flat owners are the deemed owners of the land also. It is called as undivided share of land. A very practical word. If you want, note it down. See, few things are not in book, but you should learn it. Undivided part of the land. Undivided share of. घर में जाके आज पूछना, पापा ये undivided share of the land क्या होता है? कभी this building becomes old and all the 8 flat owners say, चलो, let us demolish the building. Can they sell this land? And can they get the money? Yes. So we are in which topic? Deemed owner. Are all the flat owners deemed owner of the property? Yes. This I explained you, part performance. Where individual is holder of a power of attorney, okay? Then you are said to be the deemed owner. This is like so much popular. Hyderabad is an hub of NRIs. So NRIs are staying in Canada and they give the power of attorney to Mr. Shabazz. So Shabazz is the deemed owner of the property. On their behalf, he has to pay all tax and due. Where the property is under a dispute, so all of them are deemed owner. Where the property is taken on lease for a period of not less than 12 years, lessee shall become deemed owner. This is an old concept. You know what? In olden days, property were given on rent. In Hindi, it was called as pagdi system. Pagdi system bolte the. Some lease kind of agreement. So, for 12 years, if the lease is going, then the lessee may become the deemed owner, subject to some condition that is not there in our syllabus. Just the theory part is there, deemed owner, take it. Tax on notional rental income for builders to be calculated only after 2 years. This I told you. If the builder is constructing the house and if it is not occupied for 2 years, vacant property, no income. After that, income will be there. Yes, all the booster notes I am sharing for 2 seconds. I concentrated, dear students, more on little theory. Did you understand composite rent, subletting, advance rent, and these last 2 questions? What are the exceptions that this is not a rental income and deemed ownership? Read it. If you have any doubt, when I start business head in that class, at the end, you can pause and ask me. These are the booster notes we have written for the pre-construction interest. I think ये भी मैंने पूरा scroll करके बता दिया. So let us go for the problems now. Which problem is pending? Can some of you remind and tell me? And do you want me to solve that problem in the class? 5th one. ये problem बहुत आते हैं, combination problems. I think 5th one is pending. So as you say, you want me to discuss the answers, or shall we solve? Solving also will not take more than 10 minutes. While explaining combo problems, I took half an hour because I was explaining you format and all. Now you have 3 flats and all the flats are self-occupied. So any 2 houses, you can take a self-occupied deemed let out. Then these 2 self-occupied. Like that, you can keep on changing the combinations. Now, when you keep on changing the combinations, you can do it very fast in the exam. Take all of them as deemed let out. Take one by one as self-occupied. चलो करते ही हैं, इसको solve करेंगे. Those who have done should check their answers. ठीक है? चलो 5th problem we are doing in class. Read it with me, all of you. सबके पास material है, नहीं तो screenshot लेके रखो फिर. Then when I solve it in the notebook, you should have the problems. And after this, what next you have doubt, please ask in the income from house property. Yeah. Mahesh has 3 flats at Chennai, 1 occupied by him, another by his parents, and 3rd by grandparents. So municipal value, fair rent, standard rent, whichever is high, low that you want, municipal tax deduct hoga. Repairs, insurance, no separate deduction covered in standard deduction. And here the loan is taken on 1/4/10, so no problem. Here the loan is taken on 1/4/1998. So if this is deemed let out, then 60,000 is. If this is self-occupied, then 30,000 is allowed. Okay? You are required to Mahesh which flat? Dear students, ये question बहुत आते हैं. Now develop the speed with me. Today, see, I am doing in exam way. We have finished the concepts. I am in 5th problem. 4th and 3rd भी हमने class में किया था. तो exam में कैसे करना है? Any 2 houses you can take as self-occupied, your choice. Obviously, you will take self-occupied where income is high, and where income is low, you will go for deemed let out. Let us begin it in notebook, और फिर कुछ और booster notes भी लिखेंगे अगर लिखना है तो. ठीक है? Not in your booster notebook, please. Regular notebook for income from house property. चलो. शुरू करें साथ में. Problem number 5. Computation of income of Mr. Mahesh for previous year 21-22. Particulars and 3. Treat all the 3 as deemed let out. All taken as DLOP. You can write all treated as DLOP. Flat 1, flat 2, and flat 3. 3 flats are there. Chalo. Let us quickly write step 1. Fair rent or municipal value, whichever is higher. Step 1 answer. Are you all solving with me? Those who have not got And those who have done, they can check it, please. Step 1 or standard rent, whichever is low. Step 2 or actual rent, whichever is high. This is called as gross annual value minus municipal taxes, net annual value, minus 30% standard deduction, and interest on loan. So what is going to be income from house property? We are assuming all the three are let out. Let us do the first one quickly. For house 1, fair rent is 34, municipal value is 24. So 34 is high. That or standard rent 30. 30 is low. Actual rent is not there because it's self-occupied. So 30,000 is the GAV. Municipal tax are given 6,000. Those who have done it from home, are you all checking Dipti ma'am is doing correct or not? 24,000 into 30%. 7,200. And interest on loan is 12,000. NAV ka 30% is standard deduction. So 4,800 is the income. House 2, fair rent and municipal value 42 or 36, whichever is higher. So 42. That or standard rent, whichever is lower. 42. Fill say 42. Municipal taxes 8,000. 34,000 into 30%. 10,200. Interest on loan. If it is you are treating it as let out or deemed let out, then deduct full 60,000 rent. If anyone is having doubt, ask me. Yeah, those who have already done from the home that day, you were all sharing the answer. Share it now. Is my totals correct? बराबर कर रही हूँ मैं. Right. Now, fair rent or municipal value, 60 or 80, whichever is high. 80 or 72, whichever is low. So 72. 7,000 is the municipal taxes. 65,000 into 30%. 19,500. Interest on loan is not there. 45,500. Yes. This is the answer if all the three properties are deemed let out. I mean say option. And if they are self-occupied, then interest, self-occupied property, GAV is nil, NAV is nil. Interest on loan जो भी है वो loss रहेगा. चलो, now we'll go for option 1. I hope you are doing. I am doing it now in a shortcut way. While I was teaching, I was doing it एक एक के बाद. आज मैंने तीनों एक साथ कर दिया. This is the way you can do it in exam. Option 1. House 1 self-occupied. House 2 self-occupied. House 3 DLOP. So if house 3 is DLOP, 45,500 is the income. Is my speed fine? Are you able to write it? Yeah. Chalo. Now, if house 1 is self-occupied, what is the loss? 12,000. If house 2 is self-occupied, how much interest on loan is allowed? 30,000 only because the loan is taken on 1/4/1998. 1/4/1998. So maximum interest is allowed 30,000 here, and put together also the upper limit is 30,000. Two self-occupied property put together is 30,000. So already you have claimed 12 here. So you will claim only 18,000 here. Are you all getting what I am saying? Two self-occupied property put together, the upper limit is 30,000 or 2 lakh. So here it is 30,000 only, because here the loan is taken. Okay, but there you have taken after, no? So separately you can claim. Let it be this way only. So finally, what is your income? 45,500 minus 12,000 minus 30,000. Because there you have taken the loan after 1/4/10. So separately also beyond 30 up to 2 lakh it is allowed. Because here the loan is taken after 1/4/1999. How much is the income? 3,500. Let us go for option 2. House 1 self-occupied, house 2 DLOP, house 3 self-occupied. Now quickly copy the figures. House 1 self-occupied, house 2 deemed let out, यहाँ ऊपर तैयार है 36,200. हाउस 3 अगर सेल्फ ऑक्यूपाइड है, हाउस 3 इनकम इज nil because there is no interest on loan. Look at the screen. हाउस प्रॉपर्टी 3 में तो कोई लोन है ही नहीं. So finally there is a loss of 48,200. 48,200 is the loss. Now option 3, house 1 deemed let out. Are you getting combinations? Third DLOP, second DLOP, now first DLOP. House 2 self-occupied, house 3 self-occupied. चलिए साथ में. So if the first is deemed let out, how much income you are getting? 4,800. Second is self-occupied, limit 30,000. Self-occupied है तो limit. And third तो self-occupied है तो nil because there is no rental income. So this is coming to 30,000 minus 4,800, 25,200 loss. Now option 1 में there is income, option 2 में there is a loss, and option 3 में there is an 25,200 loss. So where you will go for? Conclusion. Mahesh has asked for your valuable advice. Give your advice. Mahesh should go for option 2. Higher the loss, lower the income, lower the tax. You can set off income in the loss. जहां income low है या loss high है, तो यहाँ तो at least you are having 3,500. Here तो there is a loss, so good. Show the loss, you can set off in other hands. So Mahesh should go for option 2 with highest loss, 48,200. Take your time. And I want some of you were giving the answers but were not clear. So can you please now unmute and speak up? Where was your doubt? आपका डाउट कहाँ था, बोलो. Are you clear how to select the option? See, when a teacher is teaching, patiently learn. Some of them have left as if they are very smart. They know everything correctly and they feel they can leave the class and go. Because this is online class. नहीं तो आपको तो क्लास में से बाहर निकलने ही नहीं मिलता. But then when the results come, no, it's proved. When a teacher is ready, sparing 10 minutes here and there, it will not take more time. Yeah. Yeah, Bhavesh, thank you so much for reminding. Even 10th problem was homework. I'll surely check it. I'll surely check it. Yeah. Class timings are going to be 6:30 to 8:30. Huh? Now, 2 hours we need because business head is vast. Chalo. Clear to all of you this problem? Anyone in the class is having doubt? And is the presentation clear? First you take all as deemed letter. Acha, you can take all as self-occupied. I skip that. So did you enjoy these conceptual learning? If yes, then below the video, the link is given for our Telegram group. You can join for concept classes app. You can download. Lot of videos are there in the free content also along with the PDF material. So whole chapter, you can download the material. You can watch all the videos in detail and do learning. Lot of theory questions, other PDFs are all included. Okay, right? So do connect with us with all the links below. If you have any query, you can write a mail and you can connect with us through the link, and would be more than glad to help you join our concept classes app community, waiting to welcome you all, right? Thank you so much. Wish you very all the best. And if you really like these kind of the concepts, hit the notification button, hit the like button, so that you're notified next time when we are taking a lecture or we are uploading it in the YouTube. And do share this video with friends. Do comment below the video for any query also, any doubt also, and if you have really taken some value addition. I'm on a mission to help more than 10,000 students. I really want to help by putting lot of value addition with the way I have learned. These all subjects are interlinked: account, tax, costing, FM. And you will enjoy this interlinking knowledge. Wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.